Welcome to the Vet SOS Veteran Educational Program Spotlight. Remember, don't drown in the sea of transition. Grab the Vet SOS Lifeline. Vet SOS is brought to you by the Who You Know Network, and we're proud members of the Prairie Deck community. I'm here as always, my co-host. Let's try speaking English. Dr. Hira, how you doing today, Hira?
Very good. Thank you. I'm excited to be learning about yet another awesome opportunity for our military community to know about.
Yeah, this one's going to be interesting. It was something I didn't have a whole lot of information on, and very intrigued by what they're trying to do. So we'll jump right into it. We're sitting down with Dr. Jeni Hunniecutt and Abbie, Erin, Holland, Schmit of VetREC. Jeni is a dedicated veteran and scholar with a deep commitment to advancing veteran-focused research. After serving in the Virginia Army National Guard, she pursued a Ph.D. in communication studies, focusing her career on the intersection of veteran identity, military transitions, and psychosocial health. Jeni is the founder and CEO of VetREC, Veteran Research and Education Curation, LLC, where she leads innovative projects that bridge research and practice to improve the well-being of veterans. Her work continues to shape the field of veteran studies, driving forward community-engaged and veteran-centric initiatives. Abbie is a dedicated advocate for veterans and female warriors with extensive experience in service and empowerment. Starting her career in the Wisconsin National Guard at 17 and deploying to Iraq by 21, she overcame significant transitional challenges upon her return. Her advocacy journey includes roles as a non-clinical case manager for the Army's Wounded Warrior Program, manager of alumni at Wounded Warrior Project, and national director of programs and partnerships for Dry Hoods of America. She is now COO and co-owner of VetREC, a company that empowers veteran service organizations and research institutions by helping them measure, analyze, and communicate their impact on veterans. Ladies, that's a lot. How are you doing today?
We're doing great. We're so excited to be here.
Yeah, this is great. Thanks for having us.
I am completely intrigued by what you guys got going on. So before we get into what VetREC is and what you're trying to do with VetREC, let's talk about, a little bit more about your journey on how you got to really working with veterans. So please, we'll start with Jeni. If you want to sort of just give us a brief expansion on the bio.
Yeah, certainly. It was a personal journey. It started, with me getting out of service and having no tools, no language, no resources or understanding of what I would experience in a transition out of the military. Found myself searching for community. I was in a Ph.D. program at the time. I got out, moved across the country to Colorado, started a Ph.D. program. I'm a researcher, and so I turned to research. Like, what is the experience of veterans getting out of the military, and what does it look like? And I found some of my own experiences in that research, and found a lot of research that didn't reflect my own experiences, which, inspired me to move into that space of work. And it's easy to, the rest is history. Essentially, it was just like I had found my new mission, to do research with veterans and to advance the field in a way that had the veteran voice and the lived experience of veterans who have served in the military, who have transitioned out, at the center and guiding the research forward. We know best about what we've been through.
That is very true. Yeah. How about you, Abbie?
Yeah, like you said, I deployed to Iraq early on, 03, 04. I turned 21 in a dry country on my golden birthday. Came back, had a lot of transitional issues, and, was dealing with trauma, and honestly didn't know the difference between the VA and the DOD and how my benefits played, and had a really hard time connecting in that kind of in-between area where you're kind of finishing off your active duty orders and whatnot and transitioning to the VA. So I struggled a lot, but found really just having peer support through veterans was really what pulled me through, and got a wonderful job with the Army as a wounded warrior advocate. And so I was helping people that went through the same journey then that I had gone through, but even more complex layers to it. So I was stationed at a VA and helped them tap into their DOD and VA and government benefits as quickly and as timelessly as we could possibly make it. So I really feel like the veteran at the center of it, but we don't deploy alone. We shouldn't come home alone. All of this is to say, like, we all have gifts, and there are times when we're going to need somebody to help us out, and there are times when we've been through something to help somebody else out. And so I think Jeni and I's even relationship has been really symbiotic in that way. Like, she has a lot of strength, obviously with a doctor on her name, where I have some more lived experience. And so coming together kind of as a unit, we really do get a really great, like, 360 approach to things, I think.
That's a great way to look at it, and really looking at the, bringing two sets of strengths together to form a super team, if you will. So let's talk about VetREC. Tell us about VetREC and what you're trying to do.
Yeah. So VetREC, it stands for Veteran Research and Education Curation. And my original vision for VetREC was kind of loose, but I knew I wanted to bring together research and practice, particularly around like non-conventional, sort of non-traditional healing modalities to help veterans. And so I started it in 2021 after I'd had, several years of experience in academia, building research infrastructures, helping to connect these siloed spaces, researchers with the veteran community, and created VetREC in a way that would evolve to meet what I was seeing in the community, the needs. So our mission really is about serving those who serve veterans. There are so many veteran service organizations out there, and there are so many researchers who want to do research usually on veterans, and because that's part of the training is, not really seeing veterans as co-researchers or being able to bring to the table the lived experience in a way that's equitable to what the researchers are bringing to the table. And so I envisioned for VetREC, it's this space where research is coming together, veterans are guiding the research forward, and it's helping to shape veteran service organizations and the way that they're serving veterans. So that's a really broad overview, but essentially we work with veteran service organizations, we help measure impact, we help develop, annual reports, we help them turn their numbers into narratives. So grant funding and helping with that is a big part of what we do. And then on the academic side, we help researchers shift the paradigm to research with veterans rather than research on veterans. Abbie, you probably have a big...
Yeah, no, I mean, Jeni and I found each other. I was working at Illinois Joining Forces at the time, and Jeni signed up to be one of our women ambassadors in the lower part of the state of Illinois. And from that, she brought me on to a research team. So she really does put her money where her mouth is. And I was an equitable partner. And it was a life-changing experience. I'm back in school right now working on my master's, and really found empowerment with the team that we were working on. We're all female veterans who had experienced military sexual trauma. And to hear your story come out of somebody else's mouth several times is humbling, and it normalizes it in a way that makes it okay to talk about. And so I think that that's really been, the heart of this is how do we define success when we look at modalities or when we look at things? Are we listening to the veterans on what they say is what they want, to go through all these treatment options? My end goal might look very different than clinical researchers, right? And so to really bring that perspective and that voice, for me, I can say it's been life-altering. So,
well, I like hear how Jeni described that it's not research on veterans, but research with veterans, and I think that's really powerful.
Yeah, it's our guiding motto. And it is such a paradigm shift. It's a different way of thinking about it. I think I'm trained as a researcher, and so I understand that, like, conditioning in the system of, like, you're trying to get grants, you're trying to publish, and just kind of really the intention is always to help and to make a difference, but it can often get lost in like, I need people to take my surveys. I need people to just like answer the questions, and to really kind of to treat human subjects research as, you know, a means to an end, or like these are participants. And it's a big difference when you bring somebody that has the experience that you don't have as the researcher to the table, and they'll just listen. You know, what do they need? What are the questions that they have? What are the outcomes that they care the most about? And it actually makes the research process a lot easier. It makes recruitment easier. It means you can translate and disseminate the research to like actually change and have impact in a much more cohesive way. So.
And I think, you know, just at the very, very basic element of that is, are you asking a question in a way that the community, the veteran of that particular group, can field an answer? Or do you feel like this is just another like stupid question that I've been asked 50 million times and I don't know how to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10 because I feel sometimes like this and sometimes like that? So breaking down the question or putting it in more like military friendly terms, I think just gives you better quality in your survey, because you're speaking the language and you're no longer using the same old thing that they've been asked a lot of times, and they're just going to check the box because that's sometimes what we do.
Yeah. I will say, you know, I had the pleasure of struggling through a doctorate and making it out the other end. But part of, you know, that motto of, you know, researching with rather than on was a driving force behind my work. And it was so refreshing to meet Jeni and be like, wow, somebody's doing this on a much broader scale. My study focused on Marines. I had many Marines read my survey before I launched it to be like, is the wording there? Am I missing something? Did I capture this right? I was fortunate to have 2 wonderful veterans as part of my committee who were also guiding it from the researcher lens as well as the veteran lens. But I think it can be hard for a lot of people to find those points of connection. So in terms of, and I do talk to a lot of veterans who want to get into research. They're like, yeah, I've been studied so much. I want to go be the researcher. I want to go and change the game. So for our either just, you know, civilian researchers or the military population, how can they connect with VetREC to, you know, get that working with rather than on the military community and their research?
Yeah. So we see, I mean, VetREC is a bridge. Like we really see it as a bridge between these 2 spaces. And we have, we've got a virtual platform where people can join for free. And it's a space that, you know, we're kind of still, like I'd mentioned, letting the community drive the way we're offering services at VetREC. And so that's still happening with this online space. And we're still kind of like, okay, what's the best way to really massage this out to be exactly that? But that's a perfect example. Like there have been several veterans that have joined that of like, hey, I'm interested. I'm curious what this is about. Yeah. Several researchers. So that's just a hub where we can make those connections. But just connecting with us, I mean, we have several studies that we're involved in. We've got several partners on the VSO side. And so we want to be that bridge. You know, we want to bring these people together and guide the relationships, help steward the relationships on both sides. It's what we're good at. You know, Abbie and I, like she mentioned, our combined strengths. It's really a unique gift, I think, to be able to do that, to guide those relationships and to bring those 2 siloed spaces together. So, you know, you can get a hold of us on our website or our email, social media. But yeah, if anybody's interested at all in that, they can just reach out. We know several, even like grant funders, even on the federal level, that have certain programs, offer funding for veterans to be ambassadors in research, you know, training around like how to be like a co-investigator in research.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Lots of opportunities there. It's wonderful to hear about.
Yes, it is. And it's already that time again.
Goes so fast. Okay. Well, this was wonderful. I know there's a lot more to talk about, and I do encourage everybody to kind of reach out and follow along, because again, I always say with the military population, you're a highly studied group. People want to know about you, but but also, yeah, make sure your voice is heard in all of it. So this is very exciting. Thank you for joining us, Jeni and Abbie. The Vet SOS podcast is excited to have you here. We'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. You can find the Vet SOS podcast on all your favorite platforms, YouTube and social media. Make sure to subscribe and follow Vet SOS so you don't miss a thing. And please remember, don't drown in the sea of the transition. Grab the Vet SOS Lifeline.